Hey everyone, welcome to our Zoom chat number 4. Tonight I have with me Eric. He's here with us and we're hoping that a few more jump on. It's a little bit after 7, but maybe some of you are listening to the recording, which is great because I know life gets busy, especially midweek. Seems like everyone schedules everything on Wednesday evenings, including myself. Sorry about that. So you might be listening to the recording at a later time. But today we are talking about scheduling success. And scheduling success is very important. Otherwise, you don't have success, right? I mean, you do have to put it into your plan, your daily plan. And so we're also going to be talking about personal and professional development today. So with that, let's just jump right into it. I read a quote recently that says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Now that's kind of scary to me, right? Like, oh, okay, so I do want to be successful. That is my goal in life. I've always wanted to be successful. And if I don't work that into my daily plan and I'm working at it consistently, even if it's just for a few minutes a day, right? Some of you are doing this very part-time, this challenge, very part-time. And some of you are doing this full-time. So it just depends on your time. But it's amazing how fast time does get away from us. It's really kind of scary, actually. So we have to plan for that in order for it to happen. So I have a ton of ideas for you today. I wanted to go through a little bit of my own personal my planning that I do each day so that you kind of know where I'm at. And it changes, it fluctuates a little bit, but I noticed that if I have a schedule, my whole family, my whole life is better, right? It's like if I tell myself I'm going to wake up every day at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, whatever the case might be, 7 a.m., go to the gym, you know, my day is going to be so much better. And I will say that when I do work out, my day is so much better, right? I'm exhausted by the end of the day and I sleep like a baby. So we covered this a little bit on one of our last challenge calls also, that if I hit the gym too late in the day, like I don't know what it is, but my mind can't shut down. My body is still too energized and I don't sleep well. So it's better for me if I hit the gym in the morning and that I'm showered by about 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's my goal, is like 9 o'clock every day. I want to be showered by then because it just seems like my day doesn't start until I shower. Now, I do work from home, so that makes it a little bit easier. But we do have to have a routine. And if you are all over the place, you're probably actually kind of punishing yourself in a sense because you are, you're just sporadic, right? You just feel like there's constant chaos in your life. So I love those planners that let you schedule, you know, your hourly plan. This is what I'm going to do, you know, and set alarms for yourself. I love cell phones. They have alarms on there. It will remind you what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, right? There's a calendar on there and lots of reminder programs that you can use. And so we do need to schedule our personal and our professional development. So a couple of items for you. I watched just barely yesterday, actually. It was an organizing webinar. They wanted you to purchase their program at the end. You know, they give you this whole free class on how to organize your life. And then at the end, they're like, it's only 3 easy payments of $67 to join our program. And they give you webinars, and they give you all this information, and they give you some online downloadable books and different things. But I took away a few important things that I wanted to share with you because sometimes scheduling is overwhelming. And so when we're talking about creating a calendar, sorry, I'm just looking on my phone here really fast so I can quickly be reminded of the steps they gave. So basically what they wanted, these were the goals for the class, just so you have kind of a basic idea, is to renew your hope and take a deep breath, right? Like sometimes we do get overwhelmed. And I know that I get overwhelmed really easy because I'm constantly thinking of all the different things that I need to do. But their point was that we need to identify one current project, one pressing project. And you've heard the saying, first things first, right? You've heard that saying before. We have to tackle the most important things first and then the least important things towards the end. And so prioritizing, right? That's basically what it is. So we need to set our priorities straight and do the first things first. I have friends that laugh at me all the time. They're like, why are you mopping your floors yet? Like, you haven't even wiped off your countertops. Like, that's how my brain works. Like, if my floor is clean, like, I feel like the whole house is clean, right? But most people are a top to bottom cleaner, and I'm a bottom to the top. I don't know what it is, but the way my brain works, and we all have a different brain wave, right? A different way of doing things. Our brains just function differently. So go with how your brain functions and go, but we can be creatures of habit, or we can make some new habits too, right? So maybe my system's not the very best, but I think the reason why I honestly want my floors clean first is because that's the biggest job in the house, right? Like, I am doing first things first. Like, I'm tackling the hardest, grossest task that I possibly can, but it is the largest because I have to vacuum, and then I have to sweep the hardwood floors, and then I have to mop, right? It takes a while. So if I do that first, like, all the other tasks seem so easy and so small. So that's how my brain functions. But it says to identify one current project, and then you're supposed to put one next action. So like, okay, so when I finish the floors, what's my next action? Because if you have a list of 10 things, are you overwhelmed? Most likely, right? And I'm just using housework because it's just something I have to do every day. I don't love doing. Eventually, I will hire someone to do my cleaning for me. So you're supposed to identify one current project, and then you identify the next action. So it's not even a step-by-step. It doesn't have to happen step-by-step. It's kind of, our brains think that it has to, like, oh, A has to come before B and B after C and whatever. It doesn't always have to be like that. So I think if we're doing things that, and we're just tackling it a little bit at a time, like, sometimes it can be out of order, right? But remember, first things first. Like, we really do want to do the most important things first. So you're going to want to probably shower in the morning before you get on Facebook, because it might be 2 o'clock in the afternoon before you shower, because that should have been the priority over Facebook. That's just one example. So, oh yeah, Facebook time flies when I'm on Facebook. Like, an hour will pass by and I'll just look at the clock and say, where did that hour go? So that is a time waster for me. I am not good on Facebook. I have to get in, get what I need to get done, and get out. So you're going to do the most important thing, and you're going to just identify one next step or one next action. That way you're not overwhelmed. You're not like, oh my gosh, I have 20 things after this. And they actually mentioned that we should only have 7 to 8 things per day on our list of things to do. Maybe even just 1 or 2 if that's how your brain works. 7 or 8 might still be too overwhelming. And then it said to create context-based lists. So you're going to say, instead of saying, I have to take Johnny to go get a haircut, like, you say errands, and then you put those errands underneath it. Because otherwise you feel like you're all over the place. Johnny's haircut, baseball, soccer. But if you put it in a category where it just says errands, I don't know, our brains are able to compartmentalize it a little bit better. And then, let's see here. That was huge. I really like to hear that. Like, don't make a huge list. You can make a separate list that has your things to do a different day. Like, that's on a whole different list. Because I don't know if you're like me, I can't stand transferring my tasks that I didn't finish today over to tomorrow's task list. Does that drive anyone crazy? It drives me nuts. So, and that's what they said. Like, that's part of the overwhelm. And so just bite off a little small chunk, but you've got this wish list over here of things that you're going to do. And they said it doesn't have to be in any kind of an order. Maybe put a couple of stars by the ones that need your attention first, right? So one of the things they said was, how many meltdowns or shutdowns have you had in the past 7 days? So just thinking about that, it's easy to get overwhelmed, right? A project has a beginning and an end, so you have to know when that task ends and another one begins. Otherwise, it's just, if it's one great big task, like clean my office, right? You're like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me a month to clean my office. Well, if you just say, today I'm just going to organize the top of it so it looks really great, right? Or whatever the case might be. I'm kind of one of these that likes aesthetics first. I like to make things look good, and then I figure out how all the other things are going to happen. One thing we also talked about is bringing things into the house, and you need to have a system in place where you deal with the mail, where you deal with homework, you deal with backpacks, shoes, jackets, like everything's kind of systematized so that and you have to train the family so they know how that works. But it does kind of get overwhelming at times if you don't have an in and out flow of the house. Let's see.
Hey, I've got to go for dinner, so.
Okay, you're good. No, thank you for tuning in. I'm just going to keep recording because I'm hoping that somebody's going to jump on. But I'll send you the recording.
All right, sounds good.
Joining us. It was good to talk to you.
All right, talk to you later.
Thanks, Eric. Okay, so also you're going to want to have a list for just you, just for the family, and beyond, right? So you can't get too sidetracked. You've just got to keep it very simple and the list very, very small. Let's see. It says, boil the next step all the way down so you couldn't possibly procrastinate even if you tried, right? So you need to boil it down to the basics and clear out all of the kind of unnecessary stuff and just eliminate all of the itty-bitty stuff. It's got the guy on there, that was a husband-wife team. They were talking about planning a family vacation. So they put it on Facebook. And they put it on Facebook and said, hey, we're traveling here. Any suggestions on where we should go, what we should do? And they said that their friends helped them plan this vacation without him even having to do a lot of the research. And so sometimes enlisting other people's help in it is really positive. They gave an idea of using, it's called evernote.com, but you have 5 actions. You have your home actions, your phone, so people you need to call, your phone actions, your errands, what you need to do on your computer, and what you need to discuss. Those are the things that are on this guy's Evernote app on his phone. So you have home, phone, like ET, phone, home, right? Home and phone, errands and computer, and to discuss. So, and they're not calendar specific, they're just tasks. So maybe you work better not having a calendar, but just having a list of things that you need to do. Everyone's brains function differently. Okay, so these are some things they wanted us to focus on. To make time and create a space. So we need to have an actual space where we do the tasks. So you want to have an actual office, even if it's just a silly little space in the corner of your bedroom. And she mentioned that she has a card table in the corner of her bedroom, right? And this is where she started her office when she had young kids. And she makes the time and creates the space. So she finds a specific time where she's going to be in that office. And then the second one is to get your emails to 0, right? She said to make folders, and so those emails go into those folders so you have a prioritized email list. Like if you have a junk folder, right, then you start putting them all in the junk folder and telling them where to go. And then you can just empty your junk folder really fast. What is step 3? Oh, shoot, I missed it. I took a picture, but I was too slow, and I flipped to the next slide. I think it's basically saying everything has its place, every place has its things. So we're going to organize the space so that it's very, very usable. She mentioned that some people, not you, but some people like they spend so much extra money a month because they don't get their payments in on time. If they could have that $300 or $400 that they pay for late fees because they can't find their bill and they don't know when the due date is, that would be a lot of time and money back into their pocket. And then it says create your system. So you're going to have a system of incoming, outgoing, for bills, for mail, for homework. And then let's see. What was the other next module? Let's see. I might have skipped them. I missed a couple of them, but guess what? I do have a replay, and I'm going to go back and listen to it. It was that good. And then it says just complete your projects, right? Just finish them. So sometimes you make them just way harder than they need to. So those are just a few ideas for scheduling your success. And I know that I have 2 hours a day where I am focused, laser sharp focused on my work, and it's from 1 to 3. My kindergartner goes to school at 12:45. Sometimes I can put him on the bus at 11:30, 11:40. And so that's an extra hour on my day if I can get him on the bus, right? But it doesn't happen every day because he wakes up late. I have to feed him breakfast. I have to feed him lunch. I have to get him ready for the day, showered. So sometimes it just doesn't happen that I get him on the bus. But if I did, that would be an extra hour on my day. So I'm highly motivated to get him on the bus, right? But I do know that minimum I'm on my, like in my work zone from 1 to 3. Even my girls know, like, don't bother mom. like that's her time, right? Because my girls are currently doing online school. And so that's my scheduled time. But you have to have a time where you schedule your personal stuff for cleaning the house, for organizing, for running errands, and then you have to have a time for your business. And so we talked mostly about our homes, right? How to make them a little bit easier, more manageable, to have a schedule set up for each of the family members, right? And then the next one is talking about scheduling our business success. And so when you do that, eliminate all distractions. Like I can't even listen to music. I love listening to music, but it distracts me. I start singing to the music and then I'm completely distracted. So I have to have it quiet. The other day, I didn't even realize it, but I had HGTV on. That's one of my favorites, HGTV. And Fixer Upper, that's one of my other favorite shows. And it was on there, and it was like the marathon, you know, of this show. And another one just kept coming on. And that was my work time. I sat on my bed. Normally I'm at the kitchen table because that's where I'm more laser focused, or I'm in my office, which is in the garage right now, but it's a finished garage, which is fine. I was on my bed. And who's going to get work done in their bedroom, right? Like I was just totally chilling and I was trying to get some work done, and I found myself I just kept looking over at the show because I had to see the finished product, right? So you have to minimize distractions, music, television, even phone calls. Like maybe you're just going to say for the first hour, I'm not taking phone calls. And then the second hour, I'm going to do my phone calls, right? So get the first things done first. And then like for me, phone calls are, yes, they're still a priority, but if I'm not careful, my phone calls can take my entire 2 hours, 3 hours of work time. So when I'm doing my mentoring calls, I really do try to limit it to 20 minutes unless it's my leader. And if it's one of my top leaders, then they usually end up talking a lot longer because we have a lot to get caught up on. And so, but I just know that I need to get my first things first done, and then I schedule my mentoring calls so that we can, I can kind of narrow that down, because then I have to go to the bus stop to get my kindergartner. So it kind of forces me to have a cutoff time for my work hours, if that makes sense. And so, but I wanted to read a couple more things to you. So we know that if we don't plan, success is, if we plan to fail, then if we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. So I wanted to talk about some different things, 10 things that you will regret when you're old. This was on Facebook today, but it was really good. It was very powerful. And I just want you guys to not have any regrets when you get to the end of your life and say, I wish I would have done this, 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 and this, right? we still have time. We still have time to achieve our goals if we can be laser focused and it's a priority. So before I read this list to you, I wanted to also talk about that. I listened to a TED Talk. I'm always listening to something, and I try to just get a few little, specific things out of it and write it down on a piece of paper. I just have my piece of paper always sitting there right by me, and I just write a couple of things, or I take a screenshot of something. But this particular TED Talk was about time management, and it said, why do we need to manage our time? Because we all have 24 hours in a day, right? Like we all don't have a different amount of time. We all have 24 hours, but it's what we choose to spend our time on that differs between one individual to another. So one of the points that this lady made is she said, I don't like when I call my friend and I invite them out to go do something or to be somewhere, and they say, oh, I don't have time for that. She's like, first of all, it makes you feel like you're not important to them, right? Because it really kind of is like that. And I listened to another speaker one time that says it's kind of like playing People's Choice Awards, right? Like, okay, so she doesn't have time for me, but then you see her on Facebook hanging out with somebody else on a Friday night, right? Okay, you know that you lost the contest and you're second choice in the People's Choice program, but it doesn't make you feel good, right? When someone says, I don't have the time for that. What they're really saying is, I choose not to invest time in you or in that. And it can be so frustrating, right? On a personal and a professional level. I've worked with leaders in my business, and it's so hard because you see them, how they spend their time on social media. Like, you know what they're doing on their own time, right? It's a lot of Facebook, or it's a lot of this or a lot of that. And you just know that you lost, like you're not a priority to them. And it's really hard because you have invested time in that relationship and in that friendship, and also in that business relationship, right? So it is about scheduling your time, and it's about prioritizing your time, because we all have the same amount. And in this TED Talk, they said, if you want to exercise, you will schedule 1 hour at the gym. If that's a priority to you, you won't make excuses. You'll just get to the gym, put your hour in if that's exactly what you want to do. And this was huge for me to hear this, because I was like, oh, I gotta find this magic hour of time that I can go to the gym. I never find it. It's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Or the four-leaf clover. Like, I'm never going to find it because it doesn't exist. So you have to make time for that one activity. And you have to say, this is important to me. This is happening regardless. And the other things in my life have to revolve around this one or two important things to me. So, in talking about time, there's just a couple more things I wanted to cover. So these are the top 10 things that you will regret when you're old. Are you ready? So this might not be hard. This might not be easy to hear. Number 1, not traveling when you had a chance. Number 2, staying in a bad relationship. Hopefully that's not you. Number 3, caring too much about what other people think. You wasted time and energy and joy wondering what other people are thinking of you, right? So, and there's a famous quote that says, why do you waste your time worrying about what other people think about you? Because they're just worrying about what you're thinking about them, right? So we're all worrying about what each other is thinking, but the other person might not even be thinking about what you're doing, right? So hopefully you can avoid that in your life. Number 4 is being afraid to say, I love you. Don't be afraid. Say it every day. Number 5 is working too much. That's mine. I do work too much, even though I schedule, 2 hours a day. I'm always in my brain. I'm always working in here, and I just need to learn to shut it off so that I can spend time with my family and be laser focused on them when it's that time, because these wheels never stop turning. Even at night, they don't stop turning. So I just have lots of ideas and creativity and fun things that I want to do, right? My list of things that I want to accomplish before my time is over is so long, right? So I just don't even have a choice to not do them, because I want to check them off my list, my bucket list. Okay, number 6 is not playing with your kids enough. That's mine, right? So there's an average that most parents spend, I think it's like less than 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes per day having a meaningful conversation with their children. How sad is that, right? And sometimes we don't even get to each of the kids. Like, okay, you get my 3 to 5 minutes of the day. That's really sad. So that is one thing that I'm working on heavily right now, is we even have an unplugged time. It's from 5 to 6 o'clock, where we have no gadgets, no electronic devices of any kind from 5 to 6. We are unplugged. And usually we have dinner in that time, and we're all busy helping with that. And then after, it seems like we want to spend more time together, because we've already spent that last hour together. So it just kind of turns into more than an hour. So, but take time each day to connect with each of the people in your life that is special to you. Number 7, not spending enough time with your parents. Now, I live far away from my parents, and they check in with me quite often, but I need to check in with them more often, right? They're really good about calling me, but I need to be better about picking up the phone and calling them too, and surprising them, because I love when they call me. Number 8 is never taking a big risk. Okay, so never putting yourself out there. I wish I would have tried this when I had this idea. And doTERRA can be that big risk, but guess what? It's not really a big risk. It's a little risk. You have very little money. You can invest as much time as you want into it with very little investment financially to build a dream. It's really the most awesome plan out there, as far as I'm concerned. And then number 9 is not quitting a terrible job. Number 10, not realizing how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are. That's number 10, right? So we're beautiful inside and out, and I see the beauty in each of you, and I also hope that you see the beauty in me, and the value of our friendship and our working relationship. Those are 10 top 10 things you will regret when you're old. So kind of scary. So try not to have those regrets when we are older. Let me think if there's anything else I was supposed to tell you. Oh yes, so along the lines of the number 10 about not realizing how beautiful you are, there's a new book that I just got that I'm reading, and it's called I Am Fabulous. And it's by Desiree Mangandog. I'm not sure how you say that, but it's Man Gan Dog. And I'll see if you can get it closer here, if you can focus on it, maybe. There we go. But it's great because it has these awesome recipes for your emotional well-being. Because I think that's one thing that we don't do, is to take care of ourselves. So I did want to spend a tiny bit of time talking about our self-care, right? Because we have personal development, but oftentimes we don't schedule our own self-care in that personal development. So I'll talk about that in just one second, but I wanted to read you a few of these emotional well-being blends that she has in here. So she has blends for letting go, blends for the heart, blends for inspiration, blends for the mind, abundance blends, feel-good blends, empowering blends, blends for hope, and diffuser blends. So a couple of examples, like the blends for letting go, because I think a lot of us, we have our minds and our hearts and our souls, just everything are kind of cluttered with just too much to do and just overwhelmed all the time, right? So a couple of the blends for letting go. One is called Release Your Fears. Another one is called Bye Bye Baggage. One is called Bye Bye Love if you have recently had an ended relationship. Clear the clutter. That can be emotional clutter. That can be physical clutter. I think we all struggle with clutter of some sort, right? Another one is Just Say No blend, and I love that. So, and it actually, I'll show you an example. Here's one for Clear the Clutter. So if we can get organized, get our lives organized, right? We can help to clear out the clutter. And it has a blend. It tells you exactly how many drops to put in here. But it's 12 drops of lemongrass, 4 lime, 3 lemon, 1 cinnamon, 1 arbor vitae, and 3 Douglas fir. You place in a small 5 ml roller bottle and then fill the rest with fractionated coconut oil. And then you're going to apply to the back of the neck, across the forehead and temples, and inside of the elbow creases. So that's just one example. But for me, I know that I've had to majorly clear out the clutter because I love to be busy. I'm crazy. I love to be busy, but I love to learn new things. And so I have a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests that I started and had before doTERRA came into my life. I love to scrapbook. I love to do wood projects, right? I have all these different painting projects and different things that I've always had. So I've had to, since we just moved in November, which is just 5 months ago, I've had to majorly take all the things that I had in a 3,500 square feet home, because our basement was unfinished in our last house, and shrink it down into a 2,000 square foot home budget, right? That's how much space I have. So I've really had to eliminate and get rid of so much clutter. And I estimated that before I even moved, that I got rid of about 75% of my own personal belongings, which I've been carrying around. I'd moved it a few different times because we had done, tons of moving and trying to find the ideal house, and moved across town for my husband's work. And so we'd moved a lot. And I just had a lot of junk. Well, that junk was weighing me down big time in my mind. I couldn't function because I was always in the back of my mind was playing this, I can't move forward. Like, I have this chaos. I have this junk in the trunk that I just need to get rid of. And I physically had to remove it, right? But we also have the junk in the trunk up here in our brains, and we need to get it out, and we need to deal with it, and we need to organize that, and we need to throw some of it away and get rid of some of it so that we can function. So in talking about getting rid of the baggage, and we need to schedule some self-care time in our personal development. So personal development is all about you and all about your family, right? So in that, you just need to focus on you, though, not the family for a minute. We'll take care of them in a second. We're going to focus on us. Because if we are the best person that we can be, we have the ability to take care of others. When we neglect our basic needs like growth, learning, exercise, proper diet, even just your own spiritual growth, right? Not taking time to connect with your higher source, which is my God, right? So if you don't take that time for that personal relationship, then I don't feel like I'm full over here. My cup is empty. My cup is not full. So that carries over to having an empty cup when you're taking care of your family members and your friends and your loved ones. So you have to do whatever you can over here to fill up that cup with all of this amazing goodness so that you have an abundance. It's overflowing. Your cup is overflowing and spilling over to give an abundance to the ones that we truly love and care about. So think about that, scheduling that time each day. So one of my routines is right by my bedstand, on my nightstand. I have my book that I'm reading that's my spiritual book, right? Whether it's the Bible or right now I'm reading a book called None Other, and it's an awesome book. So I just try to, before I even get out of bed and start my day, I read at least one chapter of that book and say a prayer that my day is going to go as, as planned. But also, I also pray that I'll be put in front of the people that need me, right? That need the essential oils, or need me as a friend, or need me as a caregiver, or whatever the case might be. Just put me in touch with those people that need me, but also that maybe I need, right? And so it goes both ways. And I just pray for that. I pray for my family that they're going to have a safe day. And it just seems like starting my day that way makes the whole day so much better. When I have to set an alarm and I get up and I'm on my way and I have to hurry and shower and be somewhere early in the morning, my day does not go as well as if I had taken time to set my alarm another 20, 30 minutes early and had that connection time and then moved forward with my day. Also, I already mentioned the gym. I have to schedule the gym in the morning, and so I have to put myself to bed at night, and it's sometimes not the easiest thing to do because my 2 kids are on online school now, right? So they don't have a real bedtime. They can go to bed and get up whenever they want as long as they get their homework done. And so we're not really on a schedule. They're not on a schedule, which throws me off of my schedule. But they are home, so they could watch my little guy, right? But I don't want to miss out on that time that I have with him before he goes to school. So kind of being selfish in there, right? Like that's my time with him. That's my main time. And then after school, I have a little bit of time with homework and different things. But in the afternoons and evenings, that's when he's connecting with my husband, who didn't get the morning with him. He gets the afternoon and evenings with him. And his 2 sisters are usually done with their homework, or they're done with their exercise and tennis and different things, so they can connect with him. So evening time is kind of our connecting time. But mine is in the morning with him. And then I try to connect with my 2 girls during the day, not during my work hours, right? But sometime in there, I've got to find time to go hang out with them. And sometimes they just roll their eyes and they just like, why are you in my room? And they're going to do that. They're teenagers. I just have to learn to, I've had to learn how to just not care what they think and just sit down and start asking questions, or just even being present in silence, right? It's sometimes what we need. So those are just a few tips and ideas for you guys with personal and professional development. We do need to plan. We do need to schedule. Don't overschedule, because overscheduling means overwhelm. Try to just take a day at a time, a step at a time, and be available, right? You gotta leave yourself enough time that you can do other things that weren't planned. That's the thing I love, right? It's like the spontaneous things that happen when I hurried and got my stuff done, and now I have some free time and new opportunities arise from that. So don't overschedule. But I do appreciate you guys joining me on this last call. It was just Eric and I, and then now it's just me. But it'll be recorded and sent out. Any feedback, I would love any feedback that you have about what you do for your scheduling time for your personal and your professional development. Please feel free to share that on our Business Mentoring Opportunity page. And until we meet again, I hope you'll continue to share your products openly with others. And also just a reminder to follow up with them after you give them a sample, so that they know that you truly care about them, right? You're not just giving them free product, and sometimes they don't know how to use it. So we got to follow up with them to make sure that they know how to use it. But I'm excited that you're on this journey with me to empower individuals and empower homes and empower communities one drop at a time. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'll see you on our Facebook page each day. We have 5 days left of this challenge after today. So stay strong, finish strong, and we'll talk to you soon.